Welcome back to the workshop. Still working on a project. I need to make some slats. If you saw me in my last video about working with brass stock, that is finished. I've got it put into the disc. There was a little short I did of making that slot or finishing making the slot. Brass is in, it's ready to go, and I am currently constructing or assembling the sphere together. So it should be, that part of the project should be done soon. But what I'm working on now is just making some slats. Taking a 3/4 inch width piece of lumber that you buy at the big box store, or in my case the small box store, got it at Ace Hardware, and getting it to this size. And so I'll show you kind of really quickly what I did. Very simple. I don't have a table saw, I don't have a bandsaw, I don't have planers or joiners or anything like that. I did this all with hand tools, and so can you. So if you had seen my video on Make a Simple Workbench, this process started with one of these. It was originally a 6-foot board, about 3/4 by 6 by 6 foot. And I cut these down to 4 feet, so it's one of the 2 feet portions from one of these boards that starts our process. That was then cut down into slots, and we'll go from there. So here's what's left of one of those 2 feet pieces, 2-foot pieces. This was then cut down to a 12-inch piece. That's what we have here. These are the 12-inch pieces. So what I'm going to do is mark this and then cut this in two. So the way I mark this out, find a middle point on the board, using my middle finger as a fence, just follow it. Doesn't have to be exact. Top, bottom, and the other side as necessary. It's a little trick I learned when I worked at Colonial Williamsburg. Works very well. Better than messing around with a ruler and all kinds of other things. So from this we can make our cut. Okay, next thing I'm going to do is take this and get it into the vise. Normally I wouldn't use stuff with knots on it, but this is a demonstration. It's going to need to be in there pretty tight. And I can adjust that as I go, because I'm going to be moving this way with the saw, and it might get a little jittery with it. This is pine lumber, so it's going to be much easier to work with than, say, Purple Heart, which I did this with years ago, and that took a long time when I built the Parthenon. You want to keep it as close to the line as you can, twisting the saw as you need to. Check real quick, make sure I'm sort of near the line. Yep. So make sure I'm not going in a completely wrong direction. There are things you could do, like looking in the reflection of your saw to make sure you have a kind of a even look in the reflection. That's another trick you can use. A little bit in the vise. Taking care not to actually hit my bench with the saw. All right, at this point, I have to flip it over. quickly get this last piece that hasn't really been touched. There we go. Two pieces, two slats, but we're not finished yet. Okay, to finish this off, to get this a little smoother and down the dimension I kind of want, I'm going to use this old smoother plane, Stanley smoother plane that I got at an antique store years ago. And I've got my bench here. I'm going to raise the piece up a little bit. Normally you wouldn't do that, but I can get away with it because it's the plane that I'm using is a little lighter. So I'm going to use this to kind of work the surface. I'm just trying to get it, not so much dimension down, just get it a little smoother. Work out some of the saw marks, work out some of the rough marks, and some of the uneven areas. Okay. Now, see, it's a much thinner piece than it was when it started. Looks a little better. Looks don't really matter in this particular situation because the final product is going to get painted. And when you see that the final product, you'll understand why. So, but it got me down to about the dimension I want, and it's ready for the next part of my project. Thanks for watching.